Hello everyone, welcome to 1991 Review. Today, we're going to dive into a new episode of Battle Through the Heavens. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support me. A fateful encounter at Heaven's Roar Valley. In the previous episode, while Xiao Yan was traveling with a mysterious old man to Heaven's Roar Valley, they were ambushed by the demonic Ima sect, who wanted to seize the exotic flame from him. Fortunately, with the help of Yun Feng and Xiong Yuan, they quickly drove off the attackers. Realizing their movements had been exposed, the mysterious old man quickly led the three of them toward Heaven's Roar Valley. He took out a glowing stone, and in a flash of light, the four of them vanished from the sky. Heaven's Roar Valley is situated on a winding mountain range. From above, it looks like a dragon made of bone, majestic and awe-inspiring. The valley is divided into four main architectural areas: the spiritual observation platform, the competition arena, the advancement hall, and the combat skill palace. Each area boasts its own unique and magnificent scenery, with the Heaven's Roar Valley itself being the most grand of them all. The buildings are arranged in a circular pattern, with each room containing a strange formation that aids in cultivation. This place is a world away from the Dochi continent. Even the Gu clan's extravagant architecture couldn't compare. As the four of them arrived, a few streaks of blue light appeared, and people quickly rushed to them, concerned about a potential invasion. In this realm, there are five major powers: the Xiao clan, Heaven's Roar Valley, the Yi clan, the Yuanyu clan, and the Ima sect. The Xiao clan and Heaven's Roar Valley share a good relationship, but the others are fierce rivals, constantly vying for resources. Seeing that the person arriving was their leader, Ming Di, the guards immediately knelt and greeted him. Ming Di waved him off, asking if anything had happened during his absence, as the recent actions of the major sects, especially the Ima sect's brazen attack, made him uneasy. He couldn't shake the feeling that their true target wasn't just Xiao Yan, but Heaven's Roar Valley itself. A man in the middle of the three guards reported to Ming Di that there had been some minor skirmishes with few minor sects, but they were all dealt with. He added that even the Ima sect and the Yuanyu clan were involved, but thanks to the help of Elder Xiao, they were all repelled. Ming Di's brows furrowed upon hearing the names of the two major sections. He then told Xiong Yuan to take Xiao Yan on a tour while he handled some matters. Xiong Yuan, a kind and cheerful man, smiled and invited Xiao Yan to join him. Xiao Yan, in turn, politely agreed, eager to see how this Dodi continent differed from his own. A tour of Heaven's Roar Valley. Xiong Yuan led Xiao Yan on a tour of the valley, and people they passed would respectfully greet Xiong Yuan, showing his popularity. Their first stop was the spiritual observation platform, a small mountain floating in midair. Xiao Yan was stunned by its unique structure and the sheer number of cultivators seated in meditation on it. Countless powerful auras filled the air, and Xiao Yan was amazed by the scale of it all. He had never seen such a grand cultivation scene, not even at the alchemist competition. Xiong Yuan explained that this was where the disciples of Heaven's Roar Valley cultivated. From the outer layers to the inner layers, the closer to the center one got, the stronger the cultivators became. The platform was divided into 12 layers, with the most central area being so potent that even Ming Di couldn't stay for long. As they observed, a young man approached Xiong Yuan, asking for guidance on a combat skill. Xiong Yuan, always willing to help, took the young man's scroll and began to patiently explain. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan wandered off to explore. He unknowingly entered a cultivation area, and a young man with fierce expression shouted at him, "Hey, kid, this is my spot. Get out, or I'll break your legs." This young man, Wu Yong, was known for his arrogance and strength, having reached the mid-stage of Dodi 1 star. Xiao Yan, sensing the man's power, decided to leave to avoid conflict, but Wu Yong wouldn't let him go. He challenged Xiao Yan to a fight. Xiao Yan, who hadn't had a good fight in a while, smiled, and his fighting spirit was instantly ignited. A clash of titans. Xiao Yan, smiling, agreed to the fight, and they went to the competition arena. As soon as they arrived, Xiao Yan unleashed his Flame Emperor's body, turning into a giant surrounded by fire dragons. Wu Yong also transformed into his Dodi body. The two giants clashed, creating a massive explosion that shook the entire arena. Wu Yong was shocked that a mere early-stage Dodi could fight him head-on. Xiao Yan then used his great Heaven's Fortune palm, and a massive palm print covered in fire dragons shot toward Wu Yong. Wu Yong responded with his great spear's roar, and a gigantic spear blocked the attack. After the attack, Wu Yong lunged at Xiao Yan with his spear, but a large heavy ruler appeared in Xiao Yan's hand, blocking the strike. Just as they were about to continue, Xiong Yuan's voice boomed. "Stop it! What are you doing, Wu Yong? If anything happens to Xiao Yan, how can I explain to Ming Di?" Wu Yong, hearing Xiong Yuan's angry tone, immediately backed down. Xiao Yan, however, laughed and defended Wu Yong, saying it was just a friendly spar. Xiong Yuan, still angry, scolded Wu Yong, revealing that Xiao Yan was a member of the Xiao clan. This revelation terrified Wu Yong, as even Ming Di was cautious around the Xiao clan. Xiong Yuan then punished Wu Yong with a year in the Demon Gorge, a place of punishment where disciples face simulated monsters. Xiao Yan, feeling a bit sorry for Wu Yong, tried to intercede, but Xiong Yuan insisted. A night of reflection and a shocking revelation. After the day's events, a full moon hung in the starry sky. Xiao Yan lay on the highest point of the spiritual observation platform, lost in thought. He felt a sense of longing and a strange pressure, a unique energy that seemed to suppress his power here. He thought of his loved ones back on the Doqi continent and felt a deep sense of loneliness. Xiong Yuan appeared and lay down beside him. Xiao Yan sighed, admitting he was homesick. Xiong Yuan smiled sadly and said he had no home, only this valley. Then, he dropped a bombshell. Once you enter this realm, you can't return to the Doqi continent. Xiao Yan was shocked and immediately shot up, asking if there was any way to go back. Xiong Yuan revealed that there was, but it was incredibly difficult. One had to surpass the Dodi realm, a feat that only the creator of this realm had ever accomplished. Xiao Yan's heart sank. He knew from Ming Di that a breakthrough from 1-star Dodi to 2-star took 1,000 years, from 2-star to 3-star took 4,000 years, and so on. He realized that by the time he surpassed the Dodi realm, his loved ones would likely be gone. However, after a moment of despair, his indomitable spirit, forged through years of hardship, resurfaced. He vowed to try, no matter the cost. Xiong Yuan was stunned by Xiao Yan's sudden shift in attitude. He didn't say anything more, but simply stayed with Xiao Yan, sharing stories about this world. Xiao Yan learned that this continent was full of hidden dangers and powerful ancient clans. He also learned that the alchemy here was different, with a mysterious, powerful flame called Heavenly Flame and a counterpart to exotic flames called Heavenly Fire. The 3 heavenly wonders and a heavenly fire. This realm has what is known as the 3 heavenly wonders. First, the heavenly flame, second, the ghost spirit, and third, the spirit seal. These 3 wonders are objects that everyone desperately seeks. They can turn a person into a powerful expert overnight or make them vanish instantly. However, these are things that can only be encountered by chance, not sought. Therefore, the number of people who have obtained these 3 wonders can be counted on one's fingers. This night made Xiao Yan realize that what was considered top tier on the Doqi continent was worth nothing here. Everyone has their own destiny and fortuitous encounters. Today, you might be worth nothing, but tomorrow you could become a hero. Regardless of where you are, these 2 words, fortuitous encounter, are always present. Here, without strength, you are just an insignificant insect. Strength is everything. A day of sparring and a shocking revelation. As the night quietly passed and the sun, red as a child's embarrassed face, rose, Xiao Yan and Xiong Yuan descended. As usual, every morning, all the disciples of Heaven's Roar Valley would gather at the training grounds to spar, which was tradition of the valley. In this vast training ground, one could choose an opponent of similar strength to spar with and gain more combat experience. In the training ground, colorful Do techniques were being unleashed, and the sounds of fierce battles echoed throughout the sky. Xiao Yan couldn't help but purse his lips. So many Do-Di experts gathered here to spar. The scene was quite a sight to behold. A glance across the training ground revealed no less than 1,000 disciples of Heaven's Roar Valley. With such a lineup, it was no wonder they were a top power in this realm. Suddenly, a figure in a combat uniform approached the 2 of them. He looked at Xiong Yuan and asked, "Ha, second senior brother, is this kid new?" Seeing Xiong Yuan remain silent, the young man directly proposed to Xiao Yan, "Little brother, how about we spar a bit?" At this, Xiong Yuan spoke up. "I'd advise you not to bully the new guy. If you're looking for a spar, you can fight me instead." The young man waved his hands and shook his head repeatedly. Xiong Yuan was clearly a lot stronger than him. Xiao Yan, however, smiled and agreed. "Senior brother Xiong Yuan, it's nothing to worry about. Since the senior brother has invited me, I can't let him down." Xiong Yuan was in a difficult position. He was worried that his fellow disciple might injure Xiao Yan, but seeing Xiao Yan's current demeanor, he couldn't find a reason to stop him. Reluctantly, he said, "All right, but you 2 should know when to stop." Xiong Yuan then introduced him to Xiao Yan. "His name is Mu Feng." Xiao Yan nodded and cupped his hands, saying, "Senior brother Mu Feng, please guide me." Mu Feng threw his head back and laughed heartily. "Haha, what a refreshing guy. I'll definitely have a good fight with this junior brother today." Xiao Yan smiled and nodded, and the auras of the 2 were immediately unleashed. Mu Feng didn't say another word, his figure vanishing like a phantom, as if it merged with the air. Xiao Yan, on the other hand, stood motionless, secretly spreading his soul power. Mu Feng and Wu Yong were both at the mid-stage of Do-Di 1-star, and Mu Feng seemed a bit stronger than Wu Yong. The powerful aura swept out from the center of the field. The dark red Do-Chi enveloped Mu Feng's body, and an invisible pressure made it difficult for some weaker cultivators to breathe. Is this the aura of a mid-stage Do-Di 1-star? Xiao Yan closed his eyes, feeling the pressure. He could sense that this kind of pressure could directly make some early-stage Do-D one-star cultivators lose their courage to fight. At this moment, many people in the square had changing expressions, their eyes filled with solemnity. The strength of a mid-stage Do-D one-star was already considered a strong expert within Heaven's Roar Valley. Suddenly, a sharp fist wind carrying a powerful force went straight for Xiao Yan. Just as the fist wind arrived, Xiao Yan's figure suddenly disappeared. Mu Feng was startled. With his rich experience, he immediately knew that Xiao Yan was not an easy opponent. At this moment, Xiao Yan quickly reappeared in the air, rapidly condensing a large cylindrical energy attack and shouting, "Yellow Spring Finger." Mu Feng was not to be outdone. He immediately unleashed a dark red Do Chi, which swirled around like flames. He then leaped into the sky like an eagle pouncing on its prey, with a sinister look on his face. He shouted, "You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth, ghost-devouring light." The hand seal in Mu Feng's hand erupted with a brilliant light, and at an astonishing speed, it formed a pitch-black energy body that shot towards Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan shouted back, pointing his finger and shooting out a large cylindrical energy attack that condensed into a giant dragon. It went straight for the pitch-black energy body. The two energies collided with an extremely deafening explosion. Xiao Yan was forced back a few steps by the opponent's force, and a trickle of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Xiong Yuan, seeing the situation, was about to rush forward to stop the fight, but Xiao Yan stopped him with a gesture. Xiao Yan's face showed a faint fighting intent as he said, "The battle has just begun. It's been a long time since I've had a fight like this. Senior brother Xiong Yuan. It's nothing to worry about. Getting injured during a spar is normal." Mu Feng was completely dumbfounded. He had never met anyone as stubborn as Xiao Yan. He knew that if he had used his full strength, Xiao Yan would have been spitting blood and dead by now. At this moment, Xiao Yan shouted, "Annihilating Fire Lotus." Countless strange fireballs immediately flew out of Xiao Yan's body, merging with each other. Seeing this strange scene, the surrounding people were shocked. In this realm, only alchemists could condense flames. So, why was this person merging so many flames? Moreover, why did he have so many flames? Seeing this scene, the disciples of Heaven's Roar Valley were all in shock, exclaiming, "Alchemist! An alchemist!" On this continent, alchemists were extremely rare, and therefore their status was very high. No one was foolish enough to provoke an alchemist unless they were a complete idiot. At this moment, Mu Feng's arrogance was greatly reduced. Since obtaining the inheritance of the ancient emperor Tuo Shi, Xiao Yan no longer needed the flame mantra to merge his exotic flames. Although he didn't want to expose his exotic flames, if he didn't use them, it would be difficult to defeat Mu Feng. Mu Feng also sensed the immense change in Xiao Yan's aura and didn't dare to be careless. He immediately unleashed his ultimate move, shouting, "Rebellious Emperor Force." His body slowly turned a pale golden color, and his aura suddenly soared. At this moment, Xiao Yan raised a fiery sphere the size of half a room into the air, its aura incredibly terrifying. He then threw the fiery sphere at Mu Feng. The two powerful energies collided, causing a deafening explosion. Energy fluctuations and a cloud of smoke and dust enveloped Xiao Yan and Mu Feng. Almost everyone, except a few powerful individuals and Xiong Yuan, ran for their lives. As the smoke and dust gradually cleared, two figures slowly appeared. Mu Feng's clothes were completely burned off by Xiao Yan's fiery sphere, and he had to use Do Chi to form a shield to cover his lower body. Xiao Yan, on the other hand, seemed to be in better shape, with his clothes only slightly messy. The two were evenly matched. This outcome was far beyond everyone's expectations. Although Mu Feng's talent was ordinary, he had cultivated for thousands of years and was a top-tier expert at the mid-stage of Do-D 1-star. Yet, he was only on par with an early-stage Do-D 1-star. But they also knew that the flames Xiao Yan had just used were very powerful. The combined force of Xiao Yan's various flames could be compared to some of the weaker heavenly flames. At the time Xiao Yan used a small part of his exotic flame to seal Soul Emperor, the power of all his flames was reduced a bit, but now it had returned to its full terrifying strength. The two stood opposite each other and cupped their hands. Mu Feng said, "Junior brother Xiao Yan, your strength is truly extraordinary. What was that fiery sphere you used just now?" Mu Feng's attitude had changed completely, which surprised Xiong Yuan and the others. At this moment, Mu Feng was secretly thinking, "Xiao Yan's flames are too strange. If I had used my full strength just now, I might have lost an arm. I need to stay away from this kid in the future." Xiao Yan, of course, couldn't reveal his exotic flames. He didn't want to attract any more trouble, so he casually said, "Oh, that's just a normal weapon, nothing special." He quickly changed the subject. "Brother Mu Feng, let's stop here for today. I have some other things to attend to. We can spar again when we have time." Xiao Yan cupped his hands and walked away. Xiong Yuan followed him. Suddenly, a clear applause rang out, startling Xiao Yan. He looked up at the high platform, his eyes filled with excitement. Without a word, he immediately knelt down and said, "This humble one, Xiao Yan, greets the ancestor." At the moment the applause sounded, Xiao Yan clearly felt his bloodline stir. This feeling couldn't be wrong. Just as Xiao Yan's knees were about to touch the ground, he was lifted up by a force. An old man instantly appeared in front of him and said, "Good. I never thought my Xiao clan would have another Do Di. This is great. No need for formalities. Come with me to the Xiao clan." As soon as he finished speaking, the old man grabbed Xiao Yan's shoulder, wanting to take him away. But at that moment, Ming Di instantly appeared and said, "Wait, he's a member of the Xiao clan, but I was the one who went to pick him up. How can you take him away now? Xiao Yan, let's go." This ancestor of the Xiao clan was the 25th generation of the family, an elder named Xiao Long. He was the third elder of the Xiao clan and had a very high status. His strength was on par with Ming Di, having reached 3-star Do Di. He and Ming Di were good friends. When Xiao Yan arrived on this continent, the Xiao clan sensed it. For Xiao Yan's safety, the clan intentionally arranged with powerful Xiao Long to go and meet him. On his way, he stopped by Heaven's Roar Valley to visit Ming Di. He unexpectedly ran into some elders of Heaven's Roar Valley gambling, and being an avid gambler, he joined in and entrusted Ming Di to help him pick up Xiao Yan. Now that Ming Di wanted to take Xiao Yan as his disciple, how could he agree? At this moment, Ming Di quickly stepped forward, putting his arm around Xiao Long's shoulder and smiling. "Oh, brother, look at our relationship. I should thank you for letting me pick up this young man for you, right? How many talents like Xiao Yan are there in my valley? Let him be a registered disciple of the valley for now. If he is willing in the future, he can officially become a disciple of my Heaven's Roar Valley. Old Xiao, what do you think?" Xiao Long smiled wryly and muttered, "Who wants to be a disciple of your Heaven's Roar Valley?" After thinking for a moment, he added, "But since we've been old friends for so long, I'll give you some face. But this matter must be decided by Xiao Yan." At this, Xiao Long and Ming Di looked at Xiao Yan for his answer. Seeing this, Xiao Yan smiled at Ming Di and said, "Senior, what are you saying?" This junior wouldn't dare. Xiao Yan remembered that if it weren't for Ming Di's help, he wouldn't know where he would be now. Becoming a registered disciple was no loss to him, so he readily agreed. Ming Di was overjoyed and said, "Good. From today on, Xiao Yan will be a registered disciple of our Heaven's Roar Valley." Xiao Long said nothing more. Ming Di then took out a piece of jade stone and gave it to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan looked at it in confusion, but Xiao Long's eyes widened and he shouted, "Ming, old head, you're quite generous, aren't you? You even gave him a compass." Ming Di scoffed. "What do you mean, old Xiao? Are you slandering me? I've always been generous with you. Didn't I give you one of these compasses too?" Xiao Long smacked his lips and said, "Look, mine isn't as good as this one. You're showing favoritism to Xiao Yan." Ming Di stomped his foot and said, "Humph, if it's no good, give it back to me." Xiao Long stepped back and replied, "What's in my hand is mine. Why should I give it back? Anyway, I won't argue with you anymore. Xiao Yan, I'll tell you how to use this compass." Ming Di was fuming. He then turned to Xiao Yan and introduced the jade stone. This stone is a very precious item. Ordinary disciples of Heaven's Roar Valley don't have it. It's called a compass, and only Heaven's Roar Valley can make it. Concocting this thing is very complicated, but using it is very simple. In fact, it's a small teleportation array. You just need to channel your Do Chi into it, and it will create a light cluster that records your current location. As long as you're not in a special place, you can instantly teleport back. Xiao Yan was surprised. What a good item. I never thought this Do Di continent would have so many rare and strange things. Following Ming Di's instructions, Xiao Yan carefully channeled his Do Chi into the compass. A blue light cluster was immediately formed and recorded Xiao Yan's current location. He then flew a short distance away. With a single thought, he instantly reappeared at the location recorded by the compass. Xiao Yan was excited. This is truly miraculous. This thing is really useful. With this, not only can I save time on flying, but the efficiency is also great. It's also very good for chasing and escaping. Haha, thank you, Ming Di. Ming Di smiled and waved his hand, indicating it was nothing. Xiao Yan then unceremoniously put the stone into his spatial ring. At this moment, Xiao Long tore open a spatial rift and said to Xiao Yan, "Let's go. We have a lot of things to do." Xiao Yan nodded respectfully to Ming Di and Xiong Yuan, and then quickly followed Xiao Long into the rift. Upon entering, a fierce spatial pressure immediately bore down on Xiao Yan. The pressure was much greater than the one he felt when he first arrived, far exceeding his limits. Xiao Long, seeing that Xiao Yan could enter the spatial rift, was quite satisfied. He waved his hand and created a protective barrier around Xiao Yan's body. Xiao Yan then felt relieved and took a deep breath. At this moment, Xiao Long suddenly asked Xiao Yan, what kind of flame was that you used earlier? Xiao Long was very curious about the flame Xiao Yan used during the fight and couldn't help but ask. Xiao Yan replied, on the Do-Chi continent, it's said that this flame is born from a natural energy between heaven and earth. It's called exotic flame. This junior was lucky enough to obtain it. Xiao Long's expression changed. He slightly frowned and then grabbed Xiao Yan's arm. His Do-Chi immediately passed through Xiao Yan's defense and entered his body. He muttered, indeed. Xiao Long's actions made Xiao Yan a bit confused, so he asked, Ancestor, is something wrong? Xiao Long sighed and said, exotic flame? Kid, what's inside your body isn't what you call exotic flame. When did the Do-Chi continent have such a flame? Xiao Yan was startled and said, exotic flame? Isn't it formed from a natural energy of heaven and earth? Xiao Long immediately laughed and said, haha, the exotic flame in your body is actually a heavenly fire from this continent, but its power has been reduced. Xiao Yan's body suddenly trembled. Its power has been reduced? Exotic flame is already a top-tier existence in the Do-Chi continent. Does that mean its true power is even stronger? What is the origin of this exotic flame? Ancestor, you said its power has been reduced, so why is it still so terrifying? Xiao Long then pulled up his sleeve, revealing a large burn scar on his arm. Speaking of heavenly fire, it's a family scandal. Seeing this, Xiao Yan was surprised and thought to himself, a 3-star Do-Di has an extremely strong body recovery ability. So why does this burn scar still exist on Xiao Long's arm? This scar on my arm was burned by the exotic flame in your hand. The few exotic flames in your hand are actually just one single heavenly fire on the Do-Di continent. People call it heavenly fire, and the one in your hand is actually ranked first in the Shao clan and 18th on the entire continent's heavenly fire rankings. Its name is Primordial Saint Flame. Xiao Yan was shocked. Primordial Saint Flame? This name is the first time I've heard it. All my exotic flames are from the same heavenly fire, so why is there no sign of them merging? This question made Xiao Yan a bit confused. He waved his hand, and a ball of beautiful flames appeared in his hand. He then asked Xiao Long, why did the Primordial Saint Flame split into so many flames? Xiao Long sighed and said, speaking of the exotic flame on the Do-Chi continent, it must be some kind of fate for you to get it. As for why it split into so many flames, that's a family scandal. Let's go meet the great elder, and then I'll tell you more. While Xiao Long was talking, a brilliant light screen moved in the distance. Stepping out of the rift, Xiao Yan looked around. He looked down and was surprised to see that below his feet was a sea of clouds, with no land in sight. But the majestic scenery here made him feel refreshed. Xiao Yan felt as if he had entered a strange state, his body and mind feeling exceptionally relaxed. Xiao Long opened up a path through the clouds, and at this moment, a city floating in the sky slowly appeared. Xiao Yan was shocked. Such a huge city, my soul power couldn't even detect it. Xiao Yan followed Xiao Long, and along the way, the scenery was filled with magnificent architecture. The highest buildings were made of materials and crystals that Xiao Yan had never seen before. It seemed that the Shao clan was extremely prosperous on the Do-Di continent. Xiao Long introduced the various buildings, such as the auction house, the combat skill hall, and the academy. The most majestic building in the city was, of course, the Shao clan main hall. Upon entering the hall, people came and went endlessly, a sign of great prosperity. Xiao Yan could feel a trace of his bloodline in everyone here. At this point, that's all for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, and leave your comments and suggestions. Thank you so much.